A little over half the season is done in the Premier League as we enter Premier League Match Week 20. And with that, a chance to win $50,000. Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Jason Mattis with Winning Bets. Thanks for hanging out with me on this video. This is one of our favorite contests and it's involved in the Premier League over on the NBC Sports Predictor app where we can win $50,000. All we have to do is correctly predict all 5 games and we can take home that money. If nobody can do it, they'll give away a guaranteed $1,000 to the group of people that can get the most points. The way you can get points is you get 4 points if you can correctly predict the result, and you can get 10 points if you can correctly predict the entire score. Last week we did fairly decent. Of the 5 games, we got 3 of the 5 games right. But we gotta do it. We gotta improve, and let's look to do that this week. The first game on the schedule here is Chelsea versus Wolves. Look, Chelsea sacked Lampard the other day, and that makes this one tricky. I thought it was going into this when I looked at this matchup about a week or so ago. Thought it was relatively straightforward, but the sacking of Chelsea to me just unsettles that club a little bit. They didn't even train yesterday because the club wanted to, put out a statement about the firing and the sacking. So just definitely unsettles that club and makes this one a lot trickier. We know about Wolves, they still don't have Jimenez and they're still struggling to score goals. In fact, they're only averaging 1.1 goals scored so far this season. So that's just really, really bad. Meanwhile, for Chelsea, they're doing a lot better. They've scored 12 more goals, but they've also conceded 6 less goals. So just overall, a much better team is this Chelsea team. Chelsea won both games last campaign, but Wolves already won the game earlier on this season. It was a winner in the 95th minute. And in that performance, neither team looked really all that really impressive. I mean, when Wolves got that goal in the 95th minute, they happened to hit Chelsea on the break, which was certainly a good counter and a good break by them, but just overall, just not a real good performance by either one of those two clubs. The form for Wolves, it's a bunch of draws, it's a bunch of losses as to be expected, when you're not scoring goals. The form for Chelsea's probably much of the same. They've only really won recently last time out against Fulham, which you should beat Fulham, but even Fulham in that game, they had a red card in that situation. So, Chelsea, barely kind of squeaked by them, so to speak. So I'm going to go ahead and say a Chelsea 2-1 win. Not overly confident in that because of the Frank Lampard sacking, but I think they will get revenge on Wolves on that win that they had earlier on the season. But then just overall, Chelsea is the better team. Again, scoring more and conceding less. So go ahead and give me Chelsea on the 2-1 win. Next game we got here is Brighton versus Fulham. Fulham has 3 straight losses and Brighton has 2 straight wins. These two clubs sit 17th and 18th so far in the table. I think Fulham's more the team that is, more of a threat to get relegated. I don't think Brighton will get relegated. I see them, being safe at the end of the campaign and probably being safe with, a couple, maybe 2, 3, 4 games to go in the season. But, they're certainly struggling right now at 17th place. Brighton is scoring more. Fulham is scoring less than 1 goal a game at 0.83 goals per game. That is how you end up in the relegation zone. As for the last 3 head-to-head competitive matches between these clubs, there's been 2 draws and a Fulham win. I'll go ahead and lean on that draw and go ahead and give me a 1-1 draw. Next up we got Everton versus Leicester. Look, for Leicester, no Vardy in this matchup, and that is absolutely huge. You're talking about a guy who every single season is pretty much in the running for the Golden Boot, and he's not going to be available for this game due to an injury, so not having Vardy to me is just a big blow to them. Both of these teams have really, really good form. Everton, they've won 4 of their last 5 games. Meanwhile, Leicester, they've won 5 of their last 5 games, so good form. Everton has won the last 2 meetings between these clubs. They've both conceded roughly about the same amount of goals, but I'm going to give the edge to Everton here in a 2-1 win, and large in part because no Vardy. We've seen it with this Leicester team. It's Vardy. He runs the show there. There's a reason why he's in the Golden Boot, and they generally do struggle. When they do these cup competitions and they want to go ahead and rest Vardy, they're just not as potent, and I think they're not going to be as potent against a really good, strong Everton side without Vardy. So I like Everton in this matchup. Next matchup we got here is Manchester United versus Sheffield United. This one's straightforward, right? Nobody is picking Everton, or nobody is picking Sheffield to get a result, certainly not to get a win. You got first place going up against 20th place. So it's really just what are you going to pick the win margin here to be for Manchester United. The one thing Manchester United, they struggle with is on corner kicks and really set pieces. They run this zonal system there on corner kicks, and guys can kind of create some separation and they can get on the end of corner kicks with their head. And that is like the only thing that Sheffield really does, is they're good at set pieces. So because of that, I don't see it quite being a clean sheet. I'm going to give Sheffield 1 goal. I'll go ahead and say United wins this game 4-1. And then the last matchup we got here is Tottenham versus Liverpool. Look, this is this week's big boy matchup. Liverpool's in terrible, terrible form. You know, I know they got a couple goals last time out against United, but that was in the FA Cup. That can certainly, you know, boost them a little bit. But in terms of league form, it's absolutely terrible. And I'm pretty sure the tweet I saw after their most recent game in the league was now 481 minutes without a goal scored in the league, if I got that number right. So just absolutely terrible. Liverpool did win in December when these two clubs, you know, faced off earlier. I mean, Tottenham had a good game plan. They almost got the result, you know, that they probably went into that game looking for based on how Jose set them up. But that being said, they also played with fire in that game. I mean, Liverpool had a ton of chances that, you know, they just didn't quite convert into goals. So, you know, good game plan by the Spurs, so to speak, but boy, did they get lucky playing with fire there. This is definitely, you know, like I said, a big boy matchup, and maybe, you know, getting goals finally recently against a big boy club in Manchester United in the FA Cup, facing another big boy club here. Maybe this will kind of wake them up and, you know, get them out of their goal drought. I believe it will. But for Tottenham, though, keep in mind, they've already beat Manchester City so far this campaign. So Jose knows what to do against big boy clubs. Beat Manchester City. I mean, gave Liverpool problems. I mean, like I said, Liverpool may have won that game, but, you know, Spurs were in that. They had a nice breakaway goal by Son in that game. So Tottenham will know what they need to do to get a result. It's just a matter of, can the players execute it over the course of 90 minutes and remain committed and be strong to that. I think they will. I think I'm going to give this game a draw. I've got this one going to 2-2 draw. It's going to be a really fascinating game. Can't wait to see this one go out between these two clubs. That's how I'm going to round out my chance to win $50,000 on Premier League Matchweek 20. Hopefully I've been of help to you. Go ahead and hit that like button to let me know that I have been of help to you. And as always, I wish you good luck on your picks, and I'll see you guys on the next contest. Thanks for watching this episode of Winning Bets. I'm Jason Mattis. I'll see you again when we are celebrating the wins and making more winning bets. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more winning bets.